Welcome back to Bold View, your home for real, fearless political commentary. Today's story is one you don't want to miss. A Chicago pastor just stood before Congress and with calm precision and one powerful word, responsibility, absolutely dismantled Ilhan Omar's entire argument about poverty, faith, and government dependence. Before we dive in, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you never miss our coverage of moments the mainstream media refuses to show you. Now here's what happened.
It's a blessing to be here today. I have been married to Ronald Fields II for 13 and a half years. We are home educators of 4 wonderful children. I have 2 girls, 22 and 3, and 2 boys, 12 and 9. My husband and I are both born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I spent 33 years there before I came to move to Chicago, Illinois, 7.5 years ago to expand our evangelistic work. We serve as the overseers and pastors of our Report Ministries and Publication in Chicago. I am also the founder of Christian Home Educator, which is a homeschool academy, and Christian Home Support System, which is our support group. These are evangelistic outreach ministries to serve and support the families of the city of Chicago and surrounding communities. We provide assistance, resources about home education, cooperative educational and recreational resources, curriculum and parental rights issues, and much more. Our mission is to empower parents to take back the responsibility of educating their children. I am also the state coordinator of parentalrights.org, a volunteer of Junior Achievement of Chicago, and a member of Cure Clergy Network. I also have over 19 years of entrepreneurial experience, with 14 of those years being consecrated in the real estate industry and several certifications in property management and nonprofit housing. I am also a recent graduate of Trinity Christian College in Palo Heights, Illinois, with a bachelor's degree in business administration with a 4.0 GPA. So let me tell you a little bit about my journey, which is nothing short of the grace of God towards me. My grandmother, who raised me, also raised 9 kids of her own, was a homeowner living in a poor black drug-infested community in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. She raised me and my younger sister. My mom was a teenage mom on drugs in and out of prison. My grandmother was a strong woman, hardworking woman. She showed tough love and had amazing independent work ethics. So I basically grew up in the typical black stigma community surrounding me: the lack of motivation for education, promiscuous behavior, drugs, crime, and some on welfare. In spite of the circumstances that surrounded my childhood, I was one that often fought against the odds. I had a love for education. I never did drugs and I never committed a crime. But however, I did fall into promiscuous behavior, and at the age of 17, I became a teenage mom. This was the turning point of my life. I will never forget the day that I found that I was pregnant. I went into a Planned Parenthood in my neighborhood. I was devastated, I was frightened, and I was scared, because I was one of those kids that excelled in school, was popular in school, played sports, was on the homecoming court. You name it, I was in it. So basically, I kept myself from the normalized behaviors that plagued the black community. So becoming pregnant was embarrassing to me. I didn't want to be like the rest. I had always strived to be better. I didn't want to be like the social norm. I didn't want to be another statistic. I didn't want to be the 72% of moms raising a child single. So while waiting for the results of my pregnancy test, I was crying and I was thinking how I had ruined my life. The nurse came back in the room and she told me that I was 3 weeks pregnant, and she consoled me that I had another choice. I had a choice to abort my baby. In that very moment, my life flashed before my eyes, because I had a big decision to make. Do I get rid of my baby and proceed as normal, as though nothing happened, and go back to my family and friends and continue to live out my life? Or do I live the rest of my life knowing I had killed my baby? Do I keep my baby and face the challenges that lie ahead of me and press past the shame, the regret, and the disappointment? I chose the latter. I chose to do what I will always hear my grandmother say: you make your bed hard, you lie in it. Those words rang loud and clear in my heart and mind. Yes, we did this. No one else is responsible for the choice we made. I must take responsibility for my actions and live with it. Live the best possible life I can, give my child the best possible life I can, finish high school, go to college, and make something of myself. I decided, in spite of my teenage pregnancy, that I would continue to press past the popularized social norms of the black community. I worked hard. I graduated from high school 5 months pregnant. During my teenage years, I worked at Burger King. I was a part of an entrepreneurial program that we had. I worked there throughout my high school years, from 15 till I graduated. But I was a mom, so I had to continue working at Burger King to provide for myself and my baby. I lived with my grandmother for several months after I had her, and she encouraged me to get on food stamps, to receive WIC, and to receive child care assistance. During this time, she also helped me to get my first apartment. After about 9 months of renting, the real estate company asked me, did I want to buy a house? I was shocked. I was excited. I went through the first-time home buyers program, and I purchased a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house at 18 years old. After 2 years of being on food stamps, I found myself increasingly growing to hate the program. I felt awful while I was on the program. It was such a level of disrespect and deprivation. I couldn't take it any longer. I removed myself from the food stamp program, but however, due to me working and going to college, I had to remain on child care assistance. After having my baby in 1996, buying my home in 1997, the same real estate company offered me a job. I became a secretary, later a rental assistant manager, and later in December 2005, I became a licensed real estate agent. However, from 1996 to early 2005, I was a single mom, working hard, working 2 jobs sometimes, going to college and maintaining honors. By November 2004, I gave my life to Christ. Met my husband. We got married October 2005. After becoming a Christian, I became an ordained minister. My faith began to challenge and propel me to work for families and kids and tackle the problems that plague the Black communities. I lived it, and I wanted to reverse the plague. I had begun and purposed in my heart that I would become that change and advocate for my family and friends. In 2006, I felt compelled by God to take more responsibility for my daughter's education. I took her out of the public education in the 4th grade, and I wanted to give her a Christian education by homeschooling her. So we did. My husband and I did not know what that would entail, but we obeyed God. Later, in 2007, we opened up a Christian homeschool academy as an extension of our evangelistic work. My husband and I are now homeowners in Chicago, Illinois for the last 3 years. My husband is the owner of his own barbershop in the South Shore community in Chicago for the last 5 years, and we are continuing our ministerial work with our Christian school and our co-op group to support the families in the city of Chicago.
This woman, a wife, mother of 4, pastor, homeschool educator, and small business owner, testified before Congress about her journey out of poverty. She didn't sugarcoat it. She grew up in one of the toughest neighborhoods you can imagine. Her mom was addicted to drugs. Her grandmother raised her with tough love and a fierce work ethic. She told Congress how at just 17 she became pregnant. She walked into a Planned Parenthood terrified and was told she had another choice. She could end her pregnancy, but she said no. She said she chose responsibility. She chose to take accountability for her actions and build a better life for her child. That one word, responsibility, is what shook the entire room. She went on to explain how she finished high school, worked at Burger King, and saved enough to buy her own home by 18 years old. No excuses, no handouts, just hard work, discipline, and faith. And then she said something that made Democrats like Ilhan Omar visibly uncomfortable. You do not have to rely on government. You can work hard and persevere. The pastor explained how her faith led her to homeschool her kids, start a Christian academy, and help other families break out of generational poverty through education and trade skills, not welfare. But then came the clash. Ilhan Omar jumped in visibly frustrated, claiming that poverty isn't caused by a lack of hard work or responsibility. It's caused by systemic barriers. She went on to accuse the pastor of being uncharitable for suggesting that people can rise out of poverty without relying on government programs. She said, and I quote, "Love doesn't feed children. You can't pray your bills away." But here's what Omar doesn't get. This pastor wasn't talking about ignoring poverty. She was talking about empowerment. She was saying that dignity comes from purpose, not dependency. That the government's job should be to create opportunity, not permanent dependence. And let's be honest, that's the last thing the progressive establishment wants to hear. Because if more people start thinking like this pastor, if more Americans realize that faith, family, and responsibility work better than endless government aid, the entire narrative crumbles. This wasn't just a testimony. This was a rebuke of everything Ilhan Omar and the far-left welfare machine stand for. In just one word, responsibility, this pastor exposed the core problem with modern liberal politics. They confuse compassion with control. And that's why this clip is going viral. Because in a room full of politicians arguing over programs, one woman stood up and said, "I lived it. I broke the cycle and you can too." That's leadership. That's faith in action. And that's what America needs a whole lot more of. If you believe in what she said, if you believe America needs more personal responsibility and less political dependency, share this video, hit that like button, and let's make sure her voice is heard louder then.